tournament here next week?
Yeah, obviously crazy time preparing and doing everything to get ready for the tournament that starts on Monday. At the same time, obviously with the landscape of college basketball right now, doing a lot of work as far as trying to figure out the roster for next season and visits and Zooms and going out and seeing guys. At the same time balancing everything that we have to do to put our game plan in and get ready for Arizona State on Monday. We head down to Las Vegas on Saturday, so we'll get a day of practice at a high school gym on Sunday, and then 5:30 Pacific time, 7:30 Central for the game on Monday. But obviously a very important time for all of us in this business, and just doing everything we can to try to balance it. And it's not easy, but it is what it is. And doing the best we can. As far as an injury update, Raleigh will not be available to play in the tournament. He's going to be in a boot for the next 4 weeks. And I know I talked a little bit about this, but Raleigh's been dealing with this injury going all the way back to December, and he's been playing with a plate in his shoe. And he's been really, really sore, and it just got to a point to where it's tough to put a lot of weight on it. So the decision was made to put him in a boot. He talked about trying to fight through it, but the best thing for Raleigh in his career is to shut him down and get him in the boot, get the recovery process started, and hopefully taken care of it. As of right now, it's not a surgical issue, and hopefully by immobilizing it, he'll be ready to go. In the next, I guess he's been in the boot now for a week, so he'll have 3 more weeks in the boot and then reevaluate him. Braxton has been back on the court. He took a little bit of time off after the season to try to quiet his back down, and he's starting to gradually get back into it. So we'll see how he is. He'll be game time decision when we get out to Las Vegas. And then Gavin, he twisted his ankle in practice yesterday, but with a couple days of treatment, hopefully he'll be available for us when we take the floor on Monday.
You have another ball to juggle, so to speak, with Adam leaving the staff.
Yeah.
Just how do you divvy up his responsibilities for this tournament, and what's the process moving forward to replace him?
Yeah, it's not ideal as far as the timing of it, but that's the other thing that that we're working on is trying to make sure that that we fill that spot with somebody that can help us in all areas. I'm really thankful for Adam. This was a great opportunity for him with family in that area of the country that he just couldn't pass up on. So, I talked to Adam about it, and he loved it here. Absolutely loved it. It was a very hard decision for him. Loves the guys, did a lot of really good things for us. And we all wish Adam nothing but the best. And, yeah, it has been. It's been, the initial stages of putting a list together and making sure we find the right guy to, to come in here and have connections to help us get, the right players in this program, development on the court. That's been a big part of our program, since we've been here, since I've been in coaching, is the development aspect. So to have somebody that is well-rounded, that can do a lot of things. And again, we're going to look at a lot of different guys for that position and do everything we can to make the right hire.
Who else is a role in Vegas?
Well, we've got Peyton Borders has done a really good job for us. He's been in a role where he can be on the floor, working with the guys, and a lot of the things that he helped me with on the offensive end. We'll have our package, and we'll have coverage out there. So again, we'll miss Adam, everything he did. I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to work with him for the 3 years. He's certainly a guy that leaves on good terms, and we'll definitely stay in contact.
Is there some experience you draw on from the last couple of years of going through the portal cycle and how you're evaluating guys that you're really?
Yeah. I mean, it happened last year when we got in the NCAA tournament. The portal opened that same week. This year we've got a week leading into the tournament where we're doing a lot of work right now. Like I said, Zoom calls and visits, and we'll continue to evaluate and go out and see guys. So it's practice in the morning, and then it's working all day on filling the holes that we'll have on our roster next year with the 7 guys that are leaving this program, and filling it with the right type of player that fits our system. And getting Rink back is huge, and that was such a great announcement. He's basically been cleared to start doing more activity on the court. He's been doing pretty much all treadmill work to this point. We've had to hold him back. He is just itching to get back out there on the floor, start doing some cutting, moving, shooting, stationary shooting, and get back ready in the next couple months to make the same impact that he did for our team last year. But, getting Rink back is such a huge, move, as big as any offseason move that we'll have is getting Rink masked back on the court.
What's your process of evaluating the past season, just kind of holistically, of like what worked, what didn't work? How do you balance that with the things still going on?
Yeah. It's going back, it's watching, and we'll go back and watch every game. We do it obviously throughout the course of the season. Going back and watching how we can close out those close games, and that was the biggest thing for us. We had some things happen to us. Obviously, we've talked about that, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we didn't make the NCAA tournament, and we got to do everything we can to get back there and be consistently in that tournament, and a winner in that tournament, and that's what we're going to do. And it's one of those games where we won close games last year. We didn't win them this year, and we got to find a way to do that. We got to win our home court games. You have to protect the vault. We have one of the best home court advantages in the country. Last year it worked. We were 10-0 in league. This year we were 4-6. That's not good enough. And we got to find a way again to close out those close games. And it was different ways. It's not like it happened the same way for us every game. And we got to be better. We got to close out the close ones. You look at Michigan; they're on the other end of it. How many games? I think 13 or 14 games now. They've won under 5 points. That's why they're still playing, and that's why we are where we are. So you got to find a way to do that. And you win your close games in this business. You're going to be playing in March in the tournament that you want to be in.
With these upcoming tournament games, for the returning guys that are coming back next year, how much are you looking at these games as an early audition maybe for next year, and just trying to get momentum going, I guess, for those guys?
Yeah, we've had really good practices, and what I'm looking at is this is a great opportunity for Braden Frager and Nick Janowski, to go out there and play in our system. We'll start working on Arizona State on Friday when we get back on the floor, but it's been all about us at this stage, and it's about getting those young guys really good quality reps after playing on the scout team all year, and different scrimmage type situations and in different game situations that we've been going through. That's invaluable for these young players. We wouldn't have been doing this type of practice without this opportunity to play in the Crown. And let me just say this about this event. It has been first-class run. I've been really impressed with, Jordan Bazant, who's the head of Fox, and, what he has done to make this a really attractive event, a first-class event. And I think it's going to take off as we go forward. But, it's a great opportunity for those young players and the guys we've got coming back, to get some really quality practice time and, spend more time together, go out on the road, going back all the way to the Hawaii trip. That was a great trip for us. And the guys spent a lot of really good quality time together when we took the 2 extended trips this year to Oregon and Washington, and the other one to Northwestern and Penn State. That's huge for the guys to be able to spend that time together leading into the off season. And, there's still a lot of things to play out with our roster, what's going to happen with our guys. There's still a chance, looking forward, that some of the players that'll play, may not be back. There's obviously we've got a lot of holes to fill. Losing Brice, you lose an all Big Ten player, and we have to replace that. And, but that's attractive for the players that we're talking to fill that role. And, again, putting the right guys on the floor. But again, you get Rink back. That's attractive for people coming in and playing with the front court guy that can make plays. And, so yeah, it's a lot of work right now, Justin. I don't remember what your first question was, but the quality practice time has been very beneficial for this group.
Staff hire, with the portal window being what it is there some sort of sense of urgency as far as a time frame of when you want to get a guy in place, just with the tie-ins with portal?
Yes, Robin, but it's got to be the right guy. I mean, it's got to be, somebody that fits, with what we're trying to do with the culture of the program, and, at the same time, somebody that can help us bring the right players onto this team. So yes, it is important, the timing of it, but also somebody that fits with who we are and what we do and in the culture that we've established.
How have the past 2 weeks been different in practice when you're not preparing for a game until as long as you are, and just balancing recovery of the whole season?
Yeah, that first week was really individual skill. It was small groups, and you don't want to burn them out in whatever the 3 weeks that we had after the long, grueling season that you go through. So that first week there was a lot of recovery. It was a lot of time in the weight room. Some guys had higher loads than others early in that first week. We let Brice recover a little bit more. His workouts weren't as strenuous as some of the other guys. And as we're getting closer, now we're starting to get back into full practices. And again, to have a sports science department that can help map out what the load should look like, so you're fresh for the games starting on Monday. And if things go the way you hope, you're playing a lot of games in a short amount of time. So all that is in play when you put together your plan for 3 weeks. But we've had a very detailed plan with our sports scientists, with our strength coach, with our trainer, and we've stuck to it of what it's supposed to look like. So yesterday was a hard day. Today was more recovery. They'll be off tomorrow, and then we'll have our normal 3-day prep that we'll have going into the game on Monday.
With the balance of the portal that you've been talking about, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, Tom Izzo went on a bit of a rant about just owing it to the guys he has now and finishing the right way. Obviously, they're in a different position in the tournament, but how tough really is that when you have a group of guys wanting to finish this season the right way with a tournament championship, and you also have to look ahead?
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing. And Coach Izzo's 100% right on everything, and I hope they look long and hard at when they open the portal in the future, because it's not fair. It's not, for the teams that are still playing, especially those that are competing for the NCAA championship. So, we'll see where that thing goes. But yeah, the main focus is on your guys. If you get the focus away from them, then they're going to see it. They're not going to come out. They're not going to perform. So, believe me, our focus is there. Making sure that the guys are right, doing whatever we can to make sure they're comfortable to finish this thing off the right way. At the same time, yes, we have a job to do. We have to go out there and listen, if we had 11 returning players, maybe it's not quite as important, but we have a lot of holes. We've got 7 guys that are leaving, at least 7 guys that are leaving the program. So we are on top of all that. But believe me, when we are on that practice floor, we are all in. We are all in with the guys. When they come back for their individual workouts in the afternoon, we are all in on those guys, film sessions, everything that we're doing. So that's the focus. But at the same time, yes, we have a job to do, and we're taking it very seriously, and we are going to get the right players to help us get back into the NCAA tournament next year. I think it needs to wait until after the Final Four. I think that's the fairest way to do it.
Coach, you spoke on it a minute ago at the Crown tournament. Can you speak on maybe the NIT versus the Crown, but what excites you about being a part of something new?
Yeah, it is. It's exciting. It's, listen, I was part of the NBA for a lot of years where the Summer League was played out in Vegas. And, we won that thing one year. We were in Vegas for 14 days, which is a long damn time to be in Las Vegas. But, if things go the way you want it, then we're going to be there for a week this year. And you got to manage that. Believe me, we'll have somebody talk to our guys about the temptations that come with being in that city for hopefully as long as we're going to be there. And, again, our guys focused. They did a great job. They won the championship in Hawaii. They had fun out there, but at the same time, they took care of business. So that has to be the focus going out there now. But it is. It's been so well run. And, we're excited to continue to play. And, this hasn't happened in this program very often, where you play 2 consecutive years in postseason basketball, especially one of those being an NCAA berth. And as close as we were this year, in as many gut punch losses as we had, our guys want to go out and finish this thing the right way. So, it's, yes, to keep the focus for 3 weeks. You see guys jumping into the portal from a lot of these teams that are still playing. Even NCAA teams have guys going into the portal right now, which is crazy. Amy, to your point of, that disrupts the flow on, continuity going into the postseason, into the Sweet 16 run, and you're missing guys that have been there with your team all year long. So, yes, it's an honor to continue to play. I've said this from day one. These last couple years have been some of the most fun I've ever had in coaching because of the makeup and the character of our players. And I think you see that. We haven't had anybody go in the portal. And that's I think, a pretty good sign, that you're doing things the right way. And, you want guys to continue to play and to go out there and compete, and then we'll see what happens when we're done. But, yes, to continue to play, basketball at this time of year. And, listen, we won the Hawaii championship. That felt pretty damn good. And we talked about that. There's a lot of different events out there, CBI, NIT, NCAA, Crown. If you win one of those, man, that's a hell of a feeling. And, still one of the best seasons that this program has had was winning the NIT championship. So, it's something that I think was remembered, and those players were honored, and rightfully so. So, if we have an opportunity to compete for a championship, we're going to do everything we can to put our players in a great position. And, whatever the results are, we'll live with it. But, again, our guys are prepared the right way, just like they have all year. And they want to go out the right way with as many, those tough gut punch losses that we had, man. It was a hard year from that perspective. But these guys, they never lost focus. They never didn't come in with the right attitude, with the right mentality, with continuing to learn. And I give our guys all the credit in the world, man. We went through some tough times, and they've continued to come in here and work. And I give our guys all the credit in the world.
To that, a lot of teams, for various reasons, after missing out on the NCAA, decided to decline any bid that they would get to any other tournament. Why was it so important to you and the guys to play in this?
Well, I brought our leadership. We have a leadership group. I brought them into my office, and I talked to them and said, what do you guys want to do? And to a man, they said, we're playing. Not one guy said, well, I don't know, Coach. I don't know if we should continue on with this. Maybe it's time to start preparing for the draft, or maybe it's time to go out and explore some different options. But to a man, they were great. And then they went in, and when we got in front of the team in the film room that day, after I met with the leadership group, Brice was the one that got up and said, guys, we're doing this, and we're going to go out there, and this isn't 1 foot in, 1 foot out. We are both feet in, and we're going to do everything we can to, compete for a championship. So, again, that's a great sign for us. Other teams that decided not to play might be in a different situation. They may have known things, that half their team was going to go into the portal, or, maybe they didn't have a situation where they were all going to be all in. And again, I think we'll go out there and compete, but until we get on that floor, you never know with the 3-week layoff of what you're going to look like. But, it's like I said, it's been a joy to coach this group, and, to have these 3 more weeks with them has been awesome. And, you just do everything you can. But again, I think it speaks to the character of our guys, Amy, when you have a group that wanted to continue to compete and do it together, and they talked about that. Even Raleigh, when he shut down, he was devastated that he wasn't going to play. And he talked to the team. He's going to continue to be here and, cheer him on. And, it's a guy that's battled through some really tough. You look at Raleigh's numbers in November, guys, he averaged, I think it was 10-6 in that first month. And he just, to play on 1 foot for the rest of the year and to take bullets like he did, I mean, that's not easy to do. I mean, he could have said, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm going to go back to Utah, or where's he from? Montana. Anyway, but he wanted to continue to be here with the guys and continue to go out there and compete. He transferred from Utah, but it's again, I love the kid, and for what he did to battle through it, I don't think anybody had any idea how much pain that kid was in, what he competed through. So, I'm proud of these guys. Even though we're not in where we want to be and didn't accomplish the main goal that we had, these guys are still going out there and fighting.
Where does that leave your point guard situation for the next week or however many games it is?
Well, obviously Brice and Aaron are 2 guys that have played that position for us. Sam, at times has brought the ball down the floor, and but yeah, I mean, our main 2 guys will be Brice and Aaron in this tournament.
What have you seen from Arizona State so far?
Yeah, very talented, a team that scored over 100 points at Arizona late in the year. Played Texas Tech in the tournament, 2 games before the tournament. It was a 2-possession game with about 7 minutes left, and Texas Tech went on an unbelievable run. K-State was a 1-possession game late, so it's a team. If they're comfortable, they're really good, and they're very talented. So again, you just got to go out there in these tournaments and hopefully get off to a great start. That is so important in these events. Confidence is a huge thing, and it's going to be a big part of this game. But they've got size on their front line, and their guards can put the ball in the basket. So again, hopefully getting off to a good start and sustaining it for 40 minutes.
Just real quick with Janowski, Frager, and Bolos Richard, guys, have there been just throughout the season areas of their game that have really kind of picked up that you've been impressed with?
100%. They have really grown. All 3 incredible workers. Every day they are in this gym getting extra work in, and the development. This is a development year for those guys, and it went, I think, exactly how it should have. And now they're almost eligible, and they're all excited. And I talked about how fast this would go when the decision was made, which was hard on them. I think especially with Nick and Braden, they both expected to come in here and play. And I talked about this during the course of the year. That first 5-game losing streak, we thought long and hard about what do we do? Do we need to get somebody else in there? And I think we won 6 in a row after that. And, but yes, as far as development, those guys all made huge strides this year. And when you're in that position and playing on the scout team, and still traveling with the team, you see all the environments that they're going to be playing in. They see the systems that they're playing every day when they prepare the guys that are eligible in playing different roles out there. And that's going to benefit them greatly. So, those guys have done an awesome job. They help the team. You look at Jeff Grace, this is his last year, what he's done for a program, and the culture builder that he was. And it's just it's not an easy role. There's no glory in it, but it's going to benefit them down the road.
Just for clarification on Selection Sunday, did you guys have a choice between the Crown and the NIT, or were you waiting for teams for it to shake? How did that work? Because I guess there's still some maybe confusion in the fan base about.
Yeah, it's a great question, Justin. And when we got approached by the Crown, that was the one that reached out. They'd been, they both reach out in case you don't make it on, what direction you want to go, and that was the one that we felt made the most sense for us.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
That would be signed, but just when he arrives in June, I guess, like older freshman, and how much can that maybe help him try to jump right into things?
It is. It is important when you come in at 20 as opposed to 17, and with the experience that you've had and maybe the maturity in your body. But Quentin Rhymes he's a hell of a scorer, and he's athletic, and we're going to need some of that next year when you lose Juwan and Brice and two of the better athletes on this team. And he can score at all three levels. He's a high level finisher at the rim. He's had games where he's really, really gotten it going from deep, from the outside, and he's got great length. So I think he's, able to, in our switching defense, able to defend multiple positions. So yes, excited about Quentin joining our team next year. And again, a lot of it with the size, length, especially when you lose a guy like Brice, and the versatility that he will bring to our roster. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Phil.
As Coach said that when he met with you guys after the regular season ended about playing in postseason, that every one of you guys wanted to play, and especially you were maybe the most vocal about it. Why was continuing on in postseason play so important for you?
I just wasn't ready to be done with college. College basketball, the way it ended. That's really it. I wasn't ready to be done. I wanted to continue to play in a uniform. I wanted to play for a championship. So, yeah.
How's your recovery been over the past few weeks? Coach said you kind of scaled things back a little bit. How's your body recovered over the past 2 weeks?
I had a few days off, or we had a few days off, which was good. Just to decompress, then get back into things, but you ramp up slowly. Body actually feels really good. We've been competing for these past few days pretty hard, but yeah, the body feels good. We've had a second to decompress. More than anything, it was kind of mental. Body's been good.
How much did all Big Ten first team selection mean to you? Obviously you had a big year with all that.
It meant a lot. Just to be recognized and to be among the top players in the league. It meant a lot. And I was very proud of myself. Very thankful. Appreciative to my teammates about that because I couldn't have done it without them. But it was. Anything you would dream for, it's a goal you write down at the beginning of the season, and to accomplish it, it gives you a strong sense of satisfaction.
Normally with postseason tournaments, you kind of roll right into it right away. But what have these last 3 weeks been like, knowing that you've got your season in the books, but you also still have something to play for?
Yeah, it was really weird because we had pretty much 3.5 weeks until we play, and that's something weird. That's a weird outlook to have, But like I said, we had a few days off, then we were slowly ramping things back up, and it's kind of we're getting back in that groove. So it was definitely a weird experience I've never experienced before, but a good one.
Well,
I know you're going to care about this program when you're not here. Some of those young guys like Frager and Janowski, what have you seen from some guys that are going to be here next year and what they can bring?
Those guys are super talented. I think they're ready to play. as long as they stay hungry and work hard this summer, they'll be fine. But I think they're both tremendously talented. With Connor coming back and other guys coming back, I think they're going to have a good solid foundation. So,
what would your message be to guys in the portal that the staff may be looking at as to why they should come here next year? Obviously, you did that a couple years ago and had success in your.
You're around good, solid people. You're around honest people. You're around people who want to see you succeed, and they'll do everything they can to help you succeed. That's a true testimony to like my being here, everything. So, good, solid people. They'll tell you what you need to do. They'll give you everything. You have every resource here to be successful. So, I mean, it's a great program, great coach, great play style, great coaching, great culture. I think it would be good if anybody's looking to come here, I think it would be a good idea. If you're ready to work hard. If you're ready to work hard and build and win and contribute to winning, then it'll be a good place for you.
As you mentioned, wondering what has the past few weeks been like mentally for you? How are you able to decompress?
Decompressing is really, for me, just not really playing basketball. I mean, I can't really go too long without playing or without thinking about it, but like, just, seeing my mom or playing golf or washing my car, like anything else that gets me away from the gym is really decompressing for me. And then when I get back in, it's kind of like I'm more hungry, more focused, more eager to be here. So.
You golf?
Yeah, I golf a little bit. I'm not great. I win a lot against my teammates, but when I play against Sam, he beats me. But anything that's not really basketball is really decompressing me because I love basketball, but as people know, it can get stressful, just like anybody's job can, especially when it's high demands and expectations.
I want to be done. Sorry, what's that?
Go ahead.
These past few months take a toll on you, just with the pressure you were under, being a guy that just has to score 20 a game. Was that more difficult than seasons past?
I've definitely had more expectations this season than seasons in the past, but I wouldn't say the pressure really ever gets to me because I kind of just approach every game as I'm going to the park. And I don't really read into what the media says. I don't read into what fans say, negatively or positively, so it's not really any pressure on me from the outside. But mentally, I mean, not everybody's like that, so sometimes the pressure gets to people. But yeah, that's pretty much how I handle it. It's been pretty good for me.
Talked about not wanting to be done playing, but you have professional aspirations beyond playing college. I guess how's the balance been getting yourself ready for potential NBA run or whatever it may be, while also finishing this thing out?
The biggest thing has just been trying to find an agent. Luckily, I found one, which pretty much takes all the stress off my shoulders because it's like he worries about that where I worry about today and where I'm at. So it's been pretty easy. Now I can just focus on the team and the run we're about to make rather than trying to juggle both. So it's been good.
I know some guys might worry about getting hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, was that ever a thought in your mind about kind of weighing the pros and cons of this?
I mean, I wouldn't really say it out loud, but I mean, no, it's definitely a sacrifice. But you can get hurt any night, so.
Does it feel like with the long layoff that it's almost like a brand new kind of season within the season?
It definitely feels like refreshing or like you're more fresh, but no, I wouldn't really say a new season in our season, but not really a new season in whole.
And what can you take from your Hawaii experience coming into this next week?
I mean, in Hawaii, it wasn't like it was a cakewalk. First game was, mucky in the beginning, and then we pulled away. Second game was mucky in the beginning, then we pulled away. It kind of just shows resilience and our toughness, but we now have to show that for a 4-game stretch to close out the season and win a championship.
With the pro stuff, do you have a plan for after the tournament? Are you going to go somewhere and train, or I guess what does that look like for you?
I don't really know that yet. I'm just kind of where my feet are right now. I don't want to worry about that right now, so I'll just cross that bridge when I get there.
You talked about the culture and the coaching staff, and Adam Howard is moving on. What has he been like as a coach, and what is NC State getting in him?
Adam Howard, I mean, he was a smart coach. He was an energetic coach. He was a genuine person. But I mean, he's going back home. He's going back where I'm from. But I mean, yeah, they got a good coach. They got a guy who knows basketball. They got a guy who can really draw up sets and really create, bring sets to life. So yeah, they're gonna get a huge boost in their offense and in their ATOs and everything. And he was under Fred for a couple years now, so I know he picked up a lot of stuff from Fred. So he's gonna be a good coach over there. He's gonna bring a lot of new energy, a new face, and everything like that, and probably liven that culture right back up.
Mr. Brice?
Yep.